Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started in the next 3 or 4 more minutes. I know we have some who are just coming in and logging in. I know we have a few that are not able to participate this evening. So, of course, we are going to be recording and crossing fingers hoping that it works correctly. But certainly start in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and start our meeting. I know that we have a few who are not able to join us tonight. Obviously, they either have class or they have other requirements, and so I am recording the meeting this evening. And like I said before, I hope this one works because the last one didn't seem to work too well. We do have just a few set things that I'd like to categories that I'd like to talk about this evening. So before I jump in, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. And if there are any kind of technical issues, don't hesitate to email me, or you can IM me, and we'll certainly try to rectify those for you. So really our main categories this evening are to talk about the following areas. I'd like to talk about your fall 2017 courses, what it is that you will be registering for, and how to register, what you'll be registering for, and how that works, meaning what we do for you since you're in the residency program, and how that all operates between now and the start of the fall semester. Of course, we obviously can talk about spring registration as well, but that's not something we have to worry about until the time frame of roughly October, November. But our primary focus is fall registration. Would like to also just take a peek at the handbook, some specific areas, specifically timeline, and that's really where we'll spend the majority of our evening, just talking about the timeline and preparation between now and June, the July time frame, in preparation for September and October. And then a brief conversation about your Praxis 2 examination, and then just some dates that we are looking at for the calendar. So basically jumping right in, and assuming that all is well and we don't have any particular questions at the moment, and please, you can stop, ask, interrupt at any point in time, which is extremely appropriate, and I want you to. Let me break down again the coursework as it's related to the fall and the spring semester, and then have a conversation as to how this will all work for you. What I've presenting up on the screen, and for those who are calling in, I am showing the course list for fall and for spring. So for example, those candidates who are in the undergraduate program, either the birth to second, K to 6 programs, you would be registering for, of course, Practicum 3 this fall. Your methods courses as applicable. And so that would be, for example, EDU 392, EDU 402, 403, 404, and 405. And those are the courses that are connected to the undergraduate K to 6 birth to second program. Now, I know one or two of you, maybe three, have already taken a methods course, or you've taken 2 methods courses, and that's fine. I think at the very beginning we had indicated, and I said we're not going to make you retake methods coursework. That's not the requirement. However, you would engage in the experiences that are related to the actual coursework itself. But we'll get into that a little bit more. Let's first talk about, now that fall registration is upon us, and it will be opened up very soon, if not very soon. I believe it's May. How will this happen for you? How will the middle level and our MEE candidates and the graduate level candidates, how will you register for your coursework? So first and foremost, let's identify that you are registering for coursework at the lowest rate possible, which is at the Georgetown rate. So for example, all of the courses that you will register for the year-long residency will have a G01 at the end, and that would indicate Georgetown. And that rate is the lowest rate possible within the university. And that's because that's the location in which that rate is provided. So whether you're an undergraduate student registering for the year-long residency practicum course, or you're a graduate level student who's registering for their Practicum 3-year-long residency course, you'll be charged at the Georgetown rate. Now, that process of registration is very clear. All of you do not actually register, meaning you will not log in to the new system, which will be coming on relatively soon, that My WilmU system. And neither will you be, filling out any kind of form online. We supply you a form that is pre-filled, pre-completed, if you will, identifying the course and courses that you will register for. You'll sign this, and then during one of our meetings in hopefully that we'll have in June together as a group, because that's one of the dates that I'd like to talk to all of you about, which is where you'll sign the paperwork for registration, and we will process that for you. So it will be very clear as to what courses you'll be registering for. It'll identify which courses for the fall, and of course we'll also have you complete the spring coursework. You might as well do both at the same time and get it done. And it'll be very clear as to what coursework you'll be registering for. So the process, again, as a summary, is we have very specific coursework for the program. We'll have those forms pre-filled out for you at our next live meeting. You sign them. We submit and register you for the coursework, and it's all at the Georgetown rate. So let me stop there, because you may have some questions about the coursework that's connected to the residency in the fall semester.
What is the Georgetown rate?
That's a great question. Okay, so let's let me bring that up actually for everybody, and we'll do a brief search here because I have to remember myself, quite frankly. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, at the undergraduate level, the Georgetown rate, yes, at a 1 credit per hour, per 1 credit hour, is $290 a credit, and that's at the Georgetown rate for undergraduate, compared to the Newcastle rate, which is $354. So again, it's not a huge savings. However, it is something that we are doing. What we're trying to do, for those who you are following along, you can see where the Dover Air Force Base is identified at the lowest rate of 250, and we are working with our college president right now, Dr. Barcelona, and who will be soon the president, Dr. Laverne Harmon, at saying if we can get this rate aligned to the year-long residency candidates. The reason being why we don't have it now is because typically the coursework that's provided at the Dover Air Force Base is for military active duty, which if you see very down at the bottom for those who are watching and online, you'll see that that's also the active military rate. So I don't know if that's something we can do. We would like to do that because, of course, any money that you can save for tuition, I think, is very helpful. At the graduate tuition rate, at the Georgetown rate, you can see the difference in the cost structure at the graduate level. For those who are calling in, the graduate level per 1 credit hour is $455. What we're trying to do there as well, which would be marked significantly different for our graduate level students, would be at the Dover Air Force rate, where, of course, it would be significantly different for all of you at the graduate level. Does that help? Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So, anybody have any additional questions about either the coursework that's required for candidates within the residency program from fall 2017, or the process of?
Mr. Wells, I have a question.
Sure.
Who will we be, like, how will we submit our coursework? Do we still do that through Blackboard, or how does that work?
This is the beauty of the year-long residency. You won't have coursework anymore for the entire year. Your experience what you're doing through the residency, and it's aligned to what we call competency-based education, meaning you will, as you progress through, will meet benchmarks and specific competencies that you will complete through task stream only. So there will be no Blackboard. There will be no set assignments for you to complete, like if you were coming to class every week that you're typically in practicum, as an example, right? A weekly seminar or a course. These are very specific activities, though, in task stream that are aligned to your experience and the DPASS framework or the Danielson model. For example, you'll still have, just as all of you have gone through with Practicum 2, you'll plan lessons and you'll teach them and you'll record them and you'll be observed using the DPASS model, and you'll upload those lessons and the materials into TaskStream. But those will be the specifics around the assignments and activities that are connected to the residency. So Leanne, in terms of evaluation and the process of work and assignments, there are set specific activities that you will complete, but they're all housed in TaskStream, and I can show you those this evening as well. But you won't have or use Blackboard because it's all structured now individually to your own need and your own progress with your supervisor and your assigned mentor teacher.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, that makes sense. It's a relief, but I think it's still going to be quite a bit of work.
Well, yes. I won't back away saying, yeah, absolutely. It'll be a lot of work, no doubt, right? But it's certainly not one of those It's not like your typical course that you're taking right now where the instructor has Blackboard and you have weekly assignments or you have things like that. It doesn't work like that. You want to sort of kind of push that away now, and you're breaking down those barriers. This is more so about your own journey from this moment until the end of next year. Okay, and it's uniquely your own journey, and so that's why we don't put barriers up with Blackboard and things like that. This is about your supervisor and your assigned mentor teacher, the group of you, especially obviously in your settings, and then how you navigate those particular tasks, yes, for PPAT as an example, the activities, yes, that are connected to TaskStream, but much more important than that, Leanne, would be more so how you engage in practice over the course of the year.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
I guess I just thought because we're registering for the courses, like we would still be utilizing Blackboard, but I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah, because look at it this way, your teacher is your assigned mentor teacher.
Right.
So you're with her every single day, and so in your case, Leanne, you're assigned to Tracy, right? Tracy Marble. So your Tracy is going to guide you and facilitate your content areas every single day.
Okay.
Okay. So instead of going on the Blackboard and instead of reading a textbook,
Right.
what you're doing is your course.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So Erica, you have a great question. So for those who have called in, Erica has typed a question. So I'm a middle school math major, but my minor is science. On my schedule, I have a methods course for math and science. Well, I need to be in a math and science class during student teaching, or only in a math class for my student teaching because that's my major. And that's a great question, Erica. Thanks for asking that. In our state and also our program, for Erica as an example, as a middle level major, your content area focus is where you would be assigned. So it would be mathematics only, Erica. You would then engage in a purely mathematics content focus experience. So it's different than the elementary level, obviously, where elementary candidates are teaching all 4 subjects. You are now focusing specifically on mathematics, and you're going to go very deep in that content area with your assigned mentor teacher as you go throughout the year. The difference here, of course, now is as you progress through each and every single day, at the middle level, it's block scheduling. So what's the difference? The difference are the children, then the students, right, that you're serving, and how you, as the educator, co-teacher with that mentor teacher, how do you create and how do you teach that content in varying ways to all those varying learners? I'm thinking that answers yes, Erica's question. Okay, are there others? And the questions are good about the coursework. The other side of this, and Leanne, you kind of bring up a good point. Your courses you're registering for have to still show up on your transcript. When you go to the state of Delaware or to the state of New Jersey or PA, and that state looks at your transcript, they are going to look for methods of math, methods of science, methods of social studies, and so forth. And they're also going to look for student teaching and everything else. And that's an extremely important part of what each state requires for licensure and certification. So in that regard, Leanne, on the flip side, the structure of a course, because we can't get around that, we still have to make sure it's labeled on your transcript, because when you do finish and you do graduate and you're out looking for your job, the state of Delaware will look very closely at your transcript, and they look very closely. They look for methods, check, check, check. They look for student teaching, check, and so forth. I'm pretty sure that makes sense. Juliana has a question for us. When signing up for our courses, how will this work for those of us who are on scholarships and grants? We would be considered full-time students. Yes, yes, you will. And the grant, Juliana, you're still signing up for a 3-credit, 4-credit course, 9, 12 credits. You're still signing up for credits. So that structure has not gone away. So it doesn't interfere with your scholarships and your grants. You still be a full-time student. So that won't interfere with the typical structure that has been in play for you over the past few semesters. These are great questions. Are there any others? And don't hesitate to ask, okay? Let me then, and here's what I will do for our friends who are calling in this evening. I will email to you what I am showing everybody on the screen, obviously, which is called the coursework verification per program. Basically, it's a listing, if you will, of the courses that you are to register for during the fall 17 and then the spring 18 semester. And again, we do that process for you. We're alleviating that whole worry of you trying to find these courses and so forth. You will see that when you do fill out these forms, that they are designated differently. They have what's called the YLR, or year-long residency designation. That designation indicates to the state of Delaware that you are in a year-long residency program. And the reason why this is so important is because the state of Delaware is actually tracking candidates who are in year-long residency programs, and they are looking at the impact of this program on K-12 student achievement, also retention and recruitment of individuals in the teaching profession. And I will be very honest with all of you and frank and upfront as well. I am doing the same. Your friendly college professor here is going through his doctoral program, and all of the candidates in the year-long residency program from our first year to this coming year and the next few years will be a part of a longitudinal study, what we call a quantitative study, focusing on hard data on how all of you in a residency program make impact on K-12 student achievement. So this is very exciting, groundbreaking stuff, and I can tell you through my own research, there is nothing out there like our program on the East Coast that really focuses in on how the impact is made on student learning and student achievement. So anyway, so Erica asks another great question. Will we automatically see our assignments we need to complete, or will be notified on TaskStream under our classes once we are registered? Actually, you can already go to the Practicum 3 and the student teaching assigned course that's in TaskStream to see the assignments that are already posted. So they're already there. There'll be no mystery. They're already listed for you. You can take a look at that at your leisure and jump in for your undergraduate programs. That's EDU 392. And for those of you who are in the undergraduate programs as well, for your methods courses, they're listed there as well. Now, the methods courses are a little different at the undergraduate level. We've tweaked it a little bit, but it technically is still the same. And of course, that's something we can go through in detail as we put together this live meeting, mentor teachers and you, the candidates, sometime hopefully in June. But again, that's why we all want to chat tonight as well. Erica, that's a great question. Are there any others that I can answer regarding the coursework and your structure? Okay. Well then, let me jump into a rough timeline for expectation, and I'm going to share with you, and again, for those who are calling in, don't worry. Again, it's recording. I actually, it is working, so I can promise you that it's recording. And then the other side of this is I can email you the documents that I'm sharing with everyone so you can see them and take a look at them as well. Now, our essential time frame, now that it's April, and we still have some candidates who are awaiting interviews in Kent County in Capital School District. We have 8 candidates who are very interested in the residency program in Capital School District, in which we do a residency option. We are finalizing, knock on wood, some structured interview time frames. And so for all of you who are at Kent County with me and here in Capital, and we will be getting to you very shortly with your interview time frames. However, all of you should be and will be, when either we get back from spring break, either assigned and identified, or at least you know your interview date, or on that pathway. What we want to be doing between May and June, that time frame of May and June, is to set up visitations with your mentor teacher to discuss grade level curriculum, assignments, so forth. Now, when we say assignments, we don't mean the assignments for Wilmington University. That's not what we mean there. What we mean is what you want to do is connect with your mentor teacher and identify what it is that you can do to prepare for the fall. In what way can you, as you're going to be engaging in the role as co-teacher, what is it that you can do to prepare for and assist the mentor teacher for the fall semester, for obviously late August and September? And so this is where the discussion revolving around the curriculum guidebooks, especially for those at the elementary level, the 4 content areas, and specifically how the assigned mentor teacher works within that structure, what it is that they like to do, what are those things that are prescripted that you cannot get away from, such at the elementary level, which are the science kits, to our middle level candidates when you're working within the structure of a middle level framework at the district level, and what will that look like and how will that be engaging come September. These are the conversations you want to have now between May and June in preparation for moving forward, so that you are not in a position where you don't understand, so to speak, what's being done and how things are created, what the schedule is. And of course, those are some of the basic conversation pieces as well, which are scheduling. What time does your mentor teacher arrive? What time do they leave? What are those things that are highlighted at the very beginning of the year? What is it that your role will be in the very beginning of the year? How will you two engage in a co-teaching environment? Which types of co-teaching experiences will you engage in first? Who will take on those various roles? What are the time frames in which you'll have purposeful conversations? And that you'll hear that word as we move into our other meetings, especially the live meeting, is there will be times during the day that, and it may only be 5 or 10 minutes, but you'll have a chance to decompress, unwind, and talk about what's going on during the day, how things are progressing, what we call purposeful conversations. And they happen every single day. Sometimes there's a lot of time for them, and sometimes it just happens quickly because the day is just rolling by. But anyway, you will also, during this time frame, have an opportunity within May to June to get to know not only your assigned mentor teacher, you're going to want to meet and engage and talk to the team level, meaning those of you who are, say, for an example, at a 7th grade middle level assignment, then you're going to want to get to know the 7th grade team, especially those who are teaching math, obviously, for like Erica's situation. Erica, you'll get to know all the math teachers at that grade level or in this building because they're separated by teams. And it's very important for all of you to connect with those other individuals. At the elementary level, this is your classic PLC group, right? At the grade level team. So it's time to do that. It's time to connect with the principal, the assistant principal, if there is one, obviously the school secretary, and so forth. What you want to do, this is your opportunity between May and June, is to get to know what I like to call the lay of the land. Okay, what it is that you need to know in preparation for the very first day when you're entering there back in August. Where to park? What do I need? What do I need to have? What name tag? For example, those of you who are at Ritchie Elementary in Shortledge in the Red Clay School District, that district is very specific. They're going to gather you up. They're going to place you in a room. They're going to talk to you about some very specific things. They're going to print out your ID cards and so forth. So it's a very structured event, obviously, in that district. But that's kind of what I'm talking about as well, though. You want to just get to know how things work. What's the ebb and flow of that particular school? By June, you should also have, and this is why we will end our conversation a little bit later, our first face-to-face meeting. It is my intent to gather all of the mentor teachers and all of the assigned mentor teachers and all of the candidates together sometime in June, in which we will all gather together and have a conversation around the year-long residency. We'll get to work together in groups. Even though there have been multiple residencies already, it's always good for the mentor teachers to come back, revisit policy, process. It's good as a fresh start, so to speak, to reconnect about those things such as co-teaching. It never hurts the mentor teachers, and obviously more so this is for you, the candidate, because that's when we'll get to set the tone and we have those initial conversations as well, not only with the group but also with individual assigned groups at school level. So within June, that's our primary focus. Once we get into July and August, we get into some very specific, if you will, not tasks. I don't want to make it sound like it's something that's just begrudgingly you have to do. Just things that you just have to prep for. For example, by July you should have already checked Task Stream and taken a look at one that you've got everything done. Just make sure you have everything done for Practicum 2 and everything's done for all your other courses, that you don't have to worry about that. What you want on you want a clean slate here. You don't have to worry about anything. Just make sure everything's in and submitted, get it off your plate. Then you also want to look forward and look into Practicum 3 and your methods courses and eventually into student teaching them. What are the requirements in Task Stream? You want to then to begin, dependent upon your assigned level, what it is those activities are, and more importantly, if which most mentor teachers do, if not all, will provide you their cell phone number. They may even ask you to meet during the summer at least once. I know that the pilot settings of our schools, that's typically what we suggest, and most mentor teachers do, that you meet sometime during July, at least one time, and you begin to plan. You begin to plan. At the elementary level, it's a unit per your methods coursework. At the middle level, it is a unit of study, but it's also a refocus on the varying ability levels. And of course, our purpose here will then move into either July or August, which is we have a very special celebration. It's a welcome kind of dinner, a welcome event. It's typically the beginning of August. So it depends on timing and structure for all of us. It could be late July. It could be beginning of August. We tend not to wait until too late because by the end of August, everybody's back into the grind and getting ready for school, and so we don't want to have a meeting in the evening and have a dinner and so forth. But typically we gather in fellowship here in Dover. Just everybody comes here. The size of the group is going to be rather large this year, so we may not be able to typically do what we do, which is come to Roma's restaurant here in Dover, and we share a glass of wine, and we get to talk over dinner and meet. We may have to do that elsewhere, but we will provide that information to you. But that is a very important event, and yes, it's a dinner, and yes, it's good conversation. More importantly, we begin as a team, not just you and your assigned mentor teacher, but a collective group on a journey between August to June, next June. And it's very important, and as soon as we solidify that date, we will get that to you. Some of the other items as you go through, and I will send the handbook to you, of course, is some very basic things, such as you're going to develop in August a letter to be sent home to mom and dad. This is a letter that your supervisor will take a look at and your mentor teacher will review, and it's some of that basic things that you would think, yes, I need to introduce myself to parents. I'm going to be here all year. I'm not the regular student teacher. I'm a co-teacher now in this classroom, and they're going to be seeing me all year. You will engage in parent-teacher conferences. You will welcome parents to the door when they come in with their child. You will have full participation here with the parents, so it's very exciting. But anyway, as those who are logged in and you can read us through, you'll begin to attend your year-long residency mentor meetings. You'll assist, obviously, in August with the preparation of the room, attend any professional developments, and, of course, you'll begin the process of identifying your pathway for the exit performance assessment, which, as you all know, is PPAT. There are obviously a variety of these little things as you go through. You'll see that this is broken down by month to month to month, and this is a guideline. You have to understand that each school setting is going to be a little bit different, and as such, you use this as a means to plan out. And then per your supervisor and your mentor teacher, then you grow from there as to what the expectations are and what you'll be doing specifically. It is our intent, absolutely, that come the very first day that children arrive, that you are fully engaging in practice, that you are fully connected to that process. So, as an overview, if you will, and I don't want to go from month to month to month, because you can do this on your own. I'll send it over to you this evening after our meeting's done, and you can read that in totality. But I'm just giving you a taste as to what you want to prepare for from May to June, preparing moving into July, and getting ready for August. So let me stop there before I jump into Praxis 2. Does anybody have any questions as to your timeline in preparation for our live face-to-face meeting in June, which we will get to as well in terms of deciding what's best for all of you as well? Does anybody have any questions about the timeline, June, July, August?
You didn't give an actual date for the June meeting, right?
Oh, no, I have not yet. Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
No. Great question. And that's actually something I do want to chat with all of you as well. I mean, I like myself, like you, June is summer. I know some of you have families, you have significant others. You're out and about. We have the opportunity to be on vacation. So we want to try to solidify this uniquely together so that we're all picking a date that works for all. So.
Okay, yeah, because I personally, I'm on vacation the last 2 weeks of June, but obviously I'll accommodate as needed. But that's why I was just kind of seeing if you had set a date so I know for myself.
Right, and usually we try to do this, and I'll be very clear, try to do it in the beginning of June, because most mentor teachers haven't totally disengaged yet. They're not like, woohoo, I'm done, all right, they haven't totally checked out yet, and once they do, though, like mid-June, forget about it. It's over. They're not coming back. This is their time for relaxation. So what we'll do is attempt to do beginning of June, but we'll get to that in a second. Does anybody have any questions about this timeline? And again, I'm going to send the document out to you so you can look at it in totality. And again, it's not gospel. I want you to understand that it can change to the individual needs of the school and individual yourselves. So it acts as a very good guide for all of you. Okay. All right. Well, again, don't hesitate to ask, okay? All right. So, next is Praxis 2. So, I know that for some that's a worry. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want you to. You can't get stressed out about that. It is just something that you have to, do. We can't get around it. So the question really should be, when does this need to be done? Okay, when should my Praxis 2 be passed and submitted to Wilmington University? That's really the question here. Of course, I'm going to play the silly fool for a moment and say, if you could get it done tomorrow, awesome. Okay, I know that's unrealistic. If you haven't planned for it though for the summer, I think that would be a very good time frame to engage in Praxis 2. Reason being, let's say you do it in July, you're going to get your results roughly by August. And that's, I think, the time frame one could sort of kind of set themselves up for is, August, you're going to get in September. September, you're going to get in October. Here's the issue. When we start passing October, we begin to worry. And the reason that we begin to worry is because candidates can't move forward in traditional student teaching unless they've passed Praxis 2 in their respective area. So what does that mean? That means if I was a traditional student teaching candidate and I was going to student teach this fall and I was going to do 80 days, I could not register and start my student teaching until I had passed Praxis 2. So how does that impact all of you, knowing you're in a residency component and you've already been in the field, in the classroom, since August? And that's why I'm saying it gets a little concerning by October if you haven't passed or you haven't taken it, because we're encroaching onto that time frame, right, of December and January, where in a traditional venue you would be doing student teaching anyway. So it's almost as if you want to look at it this way. It's now April. You've got May, June, July, August, September, right? I'll say September, maybe even October if we needed to push it. But then we get into that concern time frame, that area of concern, because then we have to start saying, are we really passing Praxis 2? Can we move forward? We have been in situations where we've allowed candidates to move forward without Praxis 2, but they've had to have it, and they have to get it done. The end result here is, even if you're in the year-long residency program and you don't pass Praxis 2, you don't graduate. And, right, that's not very good. Right? I'd probably use some other choice words if I was in my practicum class. But, that is what it is. It's not a good thing. So we want you to automatically already start thinking about, okay, one, what is my content area that I've got to take my Praxis in? I know you all have passed Praxis course, so that's a no-brainer, or Praxis 1. So you're either doing your Praxis 2 in an elementary content area, because that's your enrolled program, or your middle level, like Erica's math, right? So the other question that I do get, which is, should I be taking my special education Praxis as well? And the answer is absolutely yes, because those of you who are in the K-6 and Birth to Second program, if you want dual certification, correct, then you want a Praxis 2 in special education. So, but is special education Praxis 2 required for graduation and moving forward? The answer is no. Just your content-specific examination. Okay, so let me stop there. What questions do you have for me about your Praxis 2?
All right, Tyra, let me add that we also have the students go through a practice PPAC that they will be working on for the first semester. So if they haven't done practice, then all that gets crowded in together. So that's another reason why they want to get the practice out of the way.
Oh, yeah, agreed. Absolutely. Yeah, all of you will be preparing your tasks, as Dr. Countley is saying, very, very clearly in the fall. There is no reason why this group cannot begin the process of not only collecting the evidence and artifacts for your PPAT, but you can begin to prepare your writing for it as well. And that's the beauty of this particular program. So yes, Dr. Countley is very clear on that as well. Thank you, Dr. Countley. Additional questions? Okay. So if by chance you don't know which exam you need to take, you shoot me an email, and that's very easy to determine, identify for you. Okay, so last but not least is then taking a look at our calendars and thinking about what it is that we would like to do for the July time frame. The June time frame. I apologize. We're most likely, since most of the schools are either shutting down between the week of the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th, and it really depends, quite frankly, on the district. It depends on the on how many days they've taken off. Most, if not all, are roughly looking at the 19th and 20th as their last days of school. And that's just a wild guess. I am looking at, and what I've put on my tentative calendar is the following. I've put down June the 6th. Tuesday, June the 6th, as what we would call our year-long residency dinner, or a welcome dinner. And it could be feasibly any, quite frankly, day that week. It could be the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. But I just happened to put Tuesday because that's typically a light day in terms of traveling down here. Quite frankly, anybody who is a downstater or has any connection to Firefly will know that by Saturday the 10th, it gets a little interesting down in Dover. I happen to be a Doverite, so I know what I'm talking about. So, this week is typically, or most realistically, a prime week for us to get together as a large group. So, does anybody have any kind of concern, A, with that week, or are there any specific days during the week that would interfere with, coursework, classwork, family obligations?
I think that's the perfect day for me personally.
You're saying June 6th, I'm sorry?
Yes, June 6th.
That is my brother's graduation, so I will not be able to attend.
Okay, well, we're not set in stone. We're not set in stone.
Okay.
So, I mean, and that's the part of here too. We could do June 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. We could do any of those 4 days. I think those are feasible days on our end. Does that? And of course, the other side of this is our mentor teachers as well, right? I've got to put the invite out to them, and of course, we're not going to obviously put this together for all. And I hope everyone understands that. And will there be someone who can't make it? Absolutely, it's understandable. But
right.
Does anybody have any particular disagreements on either June the 6th or any of those particular days? Okay, thanks, Kelsey. As we go through this, please know that you will be provided in a very timely manner and I'm hoping by the end of by the end of April, the exact date, because I've sent out, pardon me, I will be sending out a notification to our mentor teachers as to a June time frame for this welcome, celebration dinner, and hoping that those dates day works for them as well. And as such, once they reply and we get that solidified, then we are good to go for that celebratory dinner. Now, in terms of and again, that'll come out. And that's again the welcome dinner. That's in the evening. Okay, that's later in the day, like around 5:30, 6 o'clock. We do need to get together, though, at least once in the summer to talk about, as we said, face-to-face with mentor teachers and with all of you regarding curriculum and in preparation for September. Now, I would hate to throw, meetings on top of meetings, but again, typically June works well for all regarding mentor teachers and whatnot. And the reason being, obviously, is typically after that 18th, 19th, and 20th, by the second week of June, school is just about out. They're just about getting done, and typically that's the time frame that's best to connect with these individuals during the day. And there's another reason too. Some of our mentor teachers can utilize the day as a professional development and come obviously and work together as a group. Now I know that these dates may disagree with some of you, and I totally understand if they do. But it is so far what we have, okay? And again, I understand if not everyone can attend because of family obligations. So please know that we're not going to hold it against you. So please know that this is the week that we're looking at for our face-to-face year-long residency meeting is June. The week of June 26th. That's the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. Possibly those 4 days could be utilized, or not all of them, pardon me, I'm sorry, one of the 4 days could be utilized for our face-to-face year-long residency meeting. Now, I am waiting on the mentor teachers to reply to see if those dates work. There has been, and I will be very upfront, I'll be very frank, there has already been discussion from one set of one school that those dates will not work for them because they're going to be away at a national conference. So we may feasibly be looking at the 21st or the 22nd of June, because then all of the mentor teachers could be in attendance. So I just want you to temporarily, and I know that sounds so wishy-washy, but I want you to temporarily just look on your calendar. And I know that we have obviously one candidate who will be away, and totally understand that. I'm not asking, please know it's not a negative thing. But I want you to take a look at the 21st and the 22nd of June, and feasibly, and in my eyes, it would either be the 26th or the 28th of June. Those 4 dates seem to be the pure dates that could be utilized as a face-to-face meeting. And again, it's my intent to have those solidified within the next couple of days to weeks. So does anybody have any questions as to that?
So for me, who will be on vacation, will I just email my mentor teacher and just tell her not to come?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Well, she'll come. She'll come because it's good. It's good for her to come and meet obviously all the other candidates, right? Because that's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry.
No, I'm just curious. I want her to go and expect me to be there, and me just not tell her. So.
Oh no, completely understand that. No, 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 no. No, she'll want to come.
Okay.
She'll want to come, and she'll want to participate. Obviously, the issue here is that you won't be able to come, and that's understandable. And we'll let her know. Don't worry, we'll let her know. Okay. Any other questions about those particular dates?
So you guys will just make a decision and let us know as soon as you can. I mean, I can pretty much rearrange my schedule however I need to with enough notice.
Yes, Emily, absolutely. It definitely will. This is something that I would love to solidify right after spring break by the end of April and get those dates solidified now to all of you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Very good. Okay, so it's 7:52. It's been an hour. I try to keep these within the hour timeline because I don't want to go beyond that. But I will stay on the line to answer any particular questions that you have. And if I can ask or be so bold as to have our Ritchie elementary candidate stay on the line for just a few more moments, just so that Dr. Countley and I can have a conversation with you. I'd appreciate it. For those such as the following, again, our Kent County group, we should have an answer really soon as to when you're going to have your interviews. Our focus here is that there are 8 of you. North Dover has 5 assigned mentor teachers, and the district is very interested in another elementary school. And I know that I'd mentioned that prior to some of you. And this elementary school is run by a absolutely phenomenal leader. His name is Charles Shepard. And so no matter how this pans out, trust me, you will be in an exciting environment and a quality environment. And so I can promise you that much. We just need to get that date to all of you. And I promise that date will not be sprung on you last minute. We will make sure that it's given to you in a timely manner as well. My candidate for Erica, who is patiently working with me as we try to search for something in New Jersey. Erica, as much as I know you would love to be there, it's not looking very good. And I know you sent me an email last week concerning the New Jersey placements, and I appreciate your patience and your understanding. So again, I'll stay on the line for any questions that you have, and be more than happy to answer any questions. So please.
I have a question. So this is more sort of, I guess, clarification to something you said earlier. So when signing up for classes, you said something about a pre-completed form that will be given to us. So we don't have to go to like an advisor and set up a form and do all that because you'll go through all of our classes and do the form for us and we just have to sign it?
Absolutely. We even go to the length, we do a degree audit for you. So by the time you get to you're ready to graduate. It's all done for you.
So what meeting, because I'm the one that's not going to be here, what meeting did you say will be presented that? Is that the week of June 6th, or is that the face-to-face meeting when we be presented with that?
Yeah, that would be the face-to-face. So what I'll probably have to do for you is you know what I could do is I could scan those materials for you in advance, and then email them to you. You know, you can print them out, sign them, and get them back to me. And you can either do a scan, or you could just take a picture with your phone and send it to me via email. You know, as a pic.
Okay. Do you want me to just email you after this so you know who I am?
I already do. I already got you down. You're good to go.
Oh, all right. Okay.
No worries. It's all good.
Tells you who we are if we didn't say who we were.
It does. The only ones I don't know are the ones who've called in because it just says guest. But again, I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Very good. Please, anyone else?
Mr. Wells, you said that you were going to send us these timelines. You're going to email them to us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to email you the course structure. I'll email you the handbook that's currently being utilized. And I have one or two other documents that I like for all of you just to look at, mainly around like co-teaching, and it's just background reading in preparation for. But yes, I will send all that to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
As far as submitting our Praxis 2 test scores, how do we do that? Is it on TaskStream?
Oh, Sarah, that's a great question. When you took, or have you taken Praxis 2 already?
Yeah, and I have my scores.
Okay, very good. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do, Sarah. Can you email me specifically, and I will put you into connection with the individual who now takes care of uploading or placing the scores into our system, and that way it gets done. We know it's done, and it's solidified for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. And please, any questions, I'm happy to respond to anything that you have. Lindsay, got your message? Absolutely. And Lindsay, welcome to you as well. And if you'd like to stay on, Lindsay, for just a moment or two, I'd be happy to chat with you in depth as well. Or if I don't know if you have the capacity to also chat at the same time, we could certainly make an appointment, but you are a welcome addition. You and Erica might be working together very closely, because if I can't find a New Jersey placement for Erica, you two would be in the Colonial School District together. Okay. Are there any other questions, please? I'm absolutely happy to try to answer anything that you have.
Hey Tyler, it's Erica.
Hello.
Hey, I just overheard you talking about the colonial thing. I can totally understand why the whole New Jersey thing is kind of complicated, considering they don't do the year-long residency and PPAT and all that stuff yet.
Well, Erica, I will be, and I think I've shared this with you before.
Mm-hmm.
The state of New Jersey came down so hard, if you will, on the districts and the Department of Ed with their intent and purpose to do residency, that there was so much backlash that now that whole law of year-long residency being implemented this fall has now been pushed back until fall of 18, with maybe even a pushback to fall of 19.
Wow.
And so I kind of get it when when the teachers and principals hear year-long residency, I think there's a bad taste in their mouth already, and so they're not positive. So please know I'm trying. Because it is it's so frustrating, because I really, I want that to happen for you. So if it does not, know that we have a wonderful middle level school in the Colonial School District. It's very close to the bridge, the Delaware Memorial Bridge. And I will be very quite frank. My mom used to work there, and so I know the school. It's a good school. It's a good environment, and great place to learn. But and if it does boil down to being you and Lindsay, who is a new candidate, you obviously, I'll connect with the both of you, and we'll talk further.
Yeah, no
okay.
problem. I actually did some research and was talking to a few people about Colonial, just because I'm not really familiar with Delaware, and I did hear that it was a really good school. So if I do end up being placed there, I think it'll be for the best, and I think I could receive the most help as far as work and the PPAT goes and everything like that.
Well, and I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm probably a little biased in nature as well. My brother teaches in the Colonial School District. Like I said, my mom taught there for almost 25 years. I have cousins who teach in the district as well. It's a solidly run district, and I know the upper administration very well, the superintendent and so forth, down to the building level administrators. These are quality individuals, and you should feel very comfortable if that's something that we move into and we decide to do. You'll know that these individuals want you there. I'm in communication with, well, he likes to be called Bud. His name is Franklin Reed, Dr. Franklin Reed. He's the assistant superintendent, but Bud is a family friend, and he and I have been talking back and forth about various year-long residency options at the elementary level, and not middle, of course, as well. And so, very, very much interested. So let me do this, Erica. I know that I have the Ritchie elementary school candidates that I would like to communicate. Could I be is it inappropriate for me to say Lindsay and Erica? How about you and I, the three of us, schedule just a conversation between the three of us within the next couple of days, if that's, or even to this weekend, if it's not inappropriate, and that way we can just focus strictly on your experience, and we can talk more. And Lindsay, I can give you more detail. Is that okay with the two of you?
That's completely fine with me. I completely understand. I know you have people waiting, and I apologize for that.
No. Don't apologize, Erica. No. I just know that it's 8 o'clock at night, and I don't want to keep anybody more than I have to, and but that way too, then the three of us can connect about the specific middle level experience, because Lindsay's middle level as well, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Just send me an email.
All right, so Lindsay and Eric, I'll do that. I'll send you an email this evening and put some times and dates out there. Worst case scenario, it could be even, Friday or Saturday. I'll be home. So, okay. All right, Lindsay. Thank you for joining us this evening, and welcome to this wonderful group. You're gonna have a blast. And Erica and Lindsay, we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Right. Bye-bye. Okay. So, Emily, Kelsey, and Nicole, are you guys on the line?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey. Yes, I'm here.
The group.
Yes, that's my group that's pacing the floor.
Don't worry. It'll be okay. All right. I get a little feedback, so I'm going to just put everybody on mute for just a second. I think, unfortunately, I'm just getting a little bit of reverb there. Anyway. Okay, so Dr. Countley and I have been going back and forth, and we have been waiting. We just lost Nicole. Well, I'm sure she'll jump back in. We have been going back and forth and waiting for Ritchie to identify the teachers, and I think what they wanted us to do was to step in and also assist them. And so I've sent a communication to the principal, Mrs. Johnson, and between Dr. Countley and I, our feelings is that we will make the determining factor and identify within the next day or two whom will be placed with whom. And I think that would then just finalize it. You'll have your placements, you'll have your assignments, and you'll be done. And Dr. Countley, I don't know if that sums it up, but do you think that's about right?
Yeah, I think that's about right. And I do understand your anxiety, all three of you.
Yeah.
Because you do want to get out and meet with the teachers and get started, and I understand that. But sometimes things happen that are beyond our control, so we have to wait, and it puts you at ill at ease, but we have to wait and do it the right way, and that's what the holdup is.
Yeah, agreed. It is really about relationships, and I think Dr. Countley knows that team and this school and the district as well. So just wanted to just say to you, thanks for being patient. Nothing is wrong. Let's put it that way too, because I think that's the other side of this. I know Nicole accidentally either got logged off or she had to hang up, but Emily or Kelsey, if you could communicate to Nicole, you three have done nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong here at all in terms of you or your communication or how you presented yourself. You all did well. Am I?
Extremely well, and we're excited to have you, and you should know that. But still, the wheels of all kinds of things grind slowly. And that's what the problem is.
That's a good way of putting it. That is a good way of putting it. Yeah. Sadly, some things go faster than others. But we are hoping that at least in the next day or two, you will know, and we will have it solidified for you. Okay, guys?
I just have one question.
Sure, Kelsey. Go ahead.
So, are you and Dr. Kelly going to be the ones matching us up?
Oh no, not just Dutch. Oh no. Dr. Countley and I and the core team, which Dr. Countley, forgive me, you may want to help me step in. That's Sherry Brooks, Maggie Brady, and Angela Morrow, right?
Right.
So it's that core team, Kelsey. So it's not just us matching you up. No. Those three teachers, they are definitely the ones who are deciding upon. And quite frankly, I think if I can be that clear, I think it is exactly that. It's just they want to choose and select who's right for whom over the course of the year. This is, as you recall, probably me saying, this is a relationship for the entire year, and they want to solidify that clearly so that everyone has a good experience.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's not. Please know it's not me. I mean, my goodness, I wasn't even at the interviews with you guys. I'm. Look at me as the rollout. I'm just facilitating that conversation with the teachers. Okay, that's all. So I'm not deciding. No. This is still a teacher-based decision for the three of you. Absolutely.
But let me ask the question: Did you get a feel for any particular person?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, for me, I guess the second grade teachers, because that's my only option.
Right. Well, you have to be second grade anyway.
Yeah, but I go back and forth. There are things